What's going on, everybody? We are back. Kabam has posted a few more details with regards to the 2-year anniversary. It's going to be released on April 3rd, and based on the description below, there's going to be a limited time boost. I'm not sure what this boost will entail, but I guess we'll find out on April 3rd. And this also coincides with the event calendar, and there's also going to be an exclusive anniversary relic. Sorry, relics. That's plural. So I'm curious to see what the boost will be and what those relics will be as well. Under the new feature tab, well, not tab, subheading, there is this thing called challenge mission. Conquer this new challenge to gain exclusive rewards, but hurry, you only have 2 weeks. Not much of a description, but I'm guessing this is very similar to the B Gauntlet that we've had in the past. Kabam Mike and Kabam Vidias have said that there's going to be more to this Gauntlet-esque thing that's coming up with 8.0. Again, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what it's all about on April 3rd, which is tomorrow. Again, so they've listed the improvements made on Map 3. Just a quick general recap of it. Map 3, the difficulty and rewards have been changed. The map layout has been also changed, as well as the encounter, buses and buffs, everything, alongside with Map 1 and 2. Now, over here, the number of bots that have been updated, so this is like a little quick change. A list of bots that are receiving change. So we have Hound, Mixmaster, Jetfire, Kickback, Starscream, Galvatron, Grimlock, Megatronus, Grinder, Dinobot, Sideswipe, and Bumblebee, Dark of the Moon. Grimlock was not on that list initially in the previous forum thread, and I don't think Bumblebee was on that either. So let's quickly change over to the forum post to see what the changelogs are going to be. So, greetings commanders. Below you will find 8.0 update rebalances to bots within the fight. With the exception of Megatronus, the newer bots are reasonably balanced. However, there are bots on the older end that are clearly behind the rest, and we look to address those. So, I'm not going to go through each single point, as that's going to make this video really long. But I'm just going to have a quick rundown with the changes that are affecting each bots. So Hound is receiving a buff to the critical rate, and his ammo switch is, the timer on that is being reduced. As well, the signature ability, it actually stays activated when he's using a special 1, 2, or 3. That's fantastic, by the way. It's a huge change. And his signature is also getting buffed with regards to the projectile damage. Critical opponents that are burning also gain extra critical damage. The debuffs, the critical resources debuffs has also increased and they're more potent. The grenade is going to do a burn instead of a bleed when it lands. Precision ammo, when it's equipped, when it actually purifies dazed effects. So, special 1 from Scorponok, it applies a dazed debuff, which means that any range attacks that go through that bot just phase right through them. It doesn't affect them at all. So he'll be able to purify that. That's actually really nice. And finally, his Inferno attack, the heat debuff that's applied with his Inferno ammo, it's a lot more stronger, and the damage over time has been shortened down to 10 seconds. So basically, damage, instead of it being spread out between 15 seconds, it is now 10 seconds. So that's actually really good. The more, the quicker you do your damage, the faster you do your damage, the better, because you want to close out the fights as soon as you can. Mixmaster, his changes revolve around acid debuffs. Basically, his acid debuff have a higher chance of being applied, and they last a lot longer and they do more damage, specifically 10% more damage. And his block proficiency has been increased to account for the buffs towards Shield Masters. Now, Mixmaster, as mentioned in a previous video, I think his biggest weakness has been the fact that it takes a long time to ramp up his buffs. His buffs being the special attack and the critical damage buff. So each of them have a maximum of 6 that get added over time, and the only way to circumvent the time it takes to get those buffs is if you have Mixmaster duped and you do well-timed blocks. So with that said, it really makes Mixmaster cumbersome to use, and cumbersome in the sense that it takes a long time for his damage to ramp up and reach his full potential. The acid debuff buffs that are being applied with this new update, while they're very nice and they definitely do help the symptom of Mixmaster sometimes not doing enough damage, because a lot of his damage stems from applying critical hits. It really doesn't address the fact that Mixmaster needs time to unleash his full potential, and that's what players really want. Moreover, his animation is very clunky. I don't think anybody really likes his animation. It's not smooth. It's just weird. And yeah, moving on to Jetfire, he's getting a base attack buff. And because he's part of the Shield Master synergy, he's also getting a block proficiency increase. The duration of his range bonus is also getting really increased. I think the range bonus stems from his special 1. The biggest change, of course, is the synergy that he's been having with Starscream. So, as you may or may not know, the incoming synergy that he gets from Starscream, whenever he uses his parashield against basic melee attacks, it gives him a chance to stun the opponent for 2 seconds. With this, so with this change, I'm just going to read the tooltip. The old friend synergy with Starscream is now part of Jetfire's base kit, which is really good. However, the stun from well-timed blocks no longer affects special attacks, and the stun duration has been shortened to 1 second. The synergy still exists, but has a new effect of increasing the duration of the stun from well-timed blocks by 50%. So instead of it, being 30%, if you have a 4 or 5 star, if you have the synergy, it'll be increased up to 50%, and with Jetfire's base kit, it's 10%, if I understand this correctly. Oh, the duration has been increased to 1 second. Okay, sorry. So the duration, so the synergy just affects the duration of the stun. Okay, never mind. So the chance still remains at 30%. Yeah, 30% chance to stun. Okay. So that's actually really good. I really feel that pairing is really essential to Jetfire's kit, and having that and just having that included as his base kit without the need of having Starscream, it really solidifies his identity as being the parry bot. So yeah, I'm really excited for the changes to Jetfire. Maybe I'll start using him. I don't really have him right now as a 3-star or 4-star or 5-star character, but I know a lot of people in Omega, not a lot. There are a few that do use him, and they really like his kit. So this will definitely appease those guys. And I think tech bots are going to be much more valuable in the updated Map 3 of Alliance missions. So we might get to see Jetfire played more often. Kickback. He's getting an increase in base critical rate and critical damage, and his special 2 inflicts bleed on top of everything else. So yeah, so he's going to be able to not only inflict bleed debuff, but also shock debuffs. I think he's the only character or the only bot that can apply two different types of damage over time effects. So that's going to be very interesting. So imagine him using his special 2, and he applies the bleed, and then as you build up your power debuffs, you immediately follow it up with a special 1, because when you have a debuff, a power debuff on the opponent, kickback actually gets higher power rate. So you'll be able to fill up your power bar quicker. You immediately, do a special 1, and now you have bleed damage and shock debuff. So I think that's going to be very, very strong. It definitely makes kickback really strong right now. He's definitely going to be shooting up in the, I guess, you know, like top viable picks for scouts. Moving on, Starscream has, so his special 1 and 2 have been changed. Finally, his special 1 has a 100% chance of getting that projectile damage buff. It's honestly, that should have been there since the beginning. It's a no-brainer. There's been countless of times where I would use a special 1 at any rank and he would never get that buff. His special 2 is now able to apply armor breaks um, on both hits. So that's fantastic. So I'm guessing he has a chance to apply 2 armor breaks, and the armor breaks actually last a lot longer. This definitely makes him fall in line with the other tactician bots. Again, like, I'm really happy about this change for Starscream. And he's also getting a little update with his old friend synergy with Jetfire. So before, if Starscream dashed back, he has a 100% chance to evade range attacks. And he also gains a 30% crit rate damage, crit damage buff for 6 seconds. So with this change, Starscream's All Friends Energy no longer plays a sidestep animation to avoid projectiles when Starscream dashes back. Instead, the projectiles miss. He still receives the critical damage buff when a projectile misses during his dodge. Okay, that's pretty good. So that's one less animation for Starscream to worry about, so he can immediately follow up with a counterattack. So that's actually a really nice change to his synergy. Galvatron increased the chance to trigger Dark Burn from heavy attacks from zero point 0.7 per charge, 0.7% charge of Dark Energy. So this gives him a chance to have 50%. So basically this change makes Galvatron have a 50% chance to inflict Dark Burn on his heavy attacks as opposed to 30%, which is really nice. You know, dancing around using your heavy in hopes of getting a Dark Burn was always a weakness of Galvatron. This addresses that. It's a really nice change. Moreover, his Dark Burn damage have been increased by 10%. So imagine what his Special 2 and Special 3 are going to be like. They're going to hurt a lot. They already do. As a matter of fact, I think the Dark Burn that he applies is way more than Megatronus's for his Special 2 and Special 3. Moving on, Grimlock got a small buff. His signature ability, it purifies after 1 second as opposed to 1.5 seconds. I personally think Kabam could have done a little bit more, simply because unduped, Grimlock doesn't really have much going for him. Um, yeah, like, he can be, like, I think he has the highest base HP out of all the bots in the entire game. But I think his damage is pretty. Whoops, sorry. Is pretty subpar compared to the other brawlers. With regards to not with regards when you count in the abilities that the other brawlers have. Anyway, Grindor, he got a small buff too, which is a massive disappointment considering that I think his special 3 needs a lot more going for him. Um, yeah, basically his special 3 just inflicts burn like other missile attacks. Terrible. Honestly, terrible. If I think a better change would have, I think a better change would have been like, applying um, crit rate debuff for 20 seconds because you know of his ability to do more damage when the opponent is blocking. When you have those like hitting the opponents as they're blocking, when you have those crit rate debuffs, I think they could have done something with that, but instead we got this thing. Disappointing. Sideswipe, he's going to be a crit rate machine, and his critical damage is going to be much, much higher. 10% critical damage, that's significant, and his crit rate base has also been increased. His special 2 has a chance to burn to 100%. Very good. Dinobot increase all critical rating duration by 2. Okay, so Dinobot, the critical rating buffs from his special 2 and special 3 have been increased by 2 seconds. This is especially important for special 2 because his crit rate buff it just it disappears really quickly. So that extra 2 seconds is very much needed. Um, his armor break duration also lasts 2 seconds longer. Also very good change. Um, yeah, so I'm really happy about those two particular changes. But on top of that, he has an extra 10% chance on his special 1 armor breaks at all ranks. Fantastic. And of course, because he's part of the Shield Masters, he also gets the extra 5% block proficiency. And he got the buff towards his signature ability. So it scales to 15 50% chance of unblockable. I don't know what that really means. I'm guessing his the chance of him having unblockable attacks goes up to 50%. That's always good. Always good. Uh, Bumblebee, Dark of the Moon. Special 1 has a 40 to, I guess, 60% chance to inflict an armor break debuff on each hit based on rank. That's fantastic because Bumblebee also will not fall in line with the other tactician bots. Since he has a 3-hit combo on his special 1, I'm guessing he's able to maybe apply 3 armor breaks. Or is it just a chance to apply 1 armor break? I'm not too sure. The wording on it isn't very detailed. Megatronus. So he's the only bot that's getting a nerf. Remove 2% health and remove 4% base attack. This change is very much needed. If it was up to me, I would have gone a lot more. I would have not gutted him, but I would have messed with his abilities because I really do think that his abilities are what makes him really overpowered. And I know Kabam doesn't want to dethrone him because the uproar from the community is like the backlash is going to be insane. But his base health was already way too high. I don't think 2% is going to be doing anything. I would have just made it 5 or 4%, whatever. His attack is already really high too. 4% is really not going to do anything. It's just like a small dent. And finally, the Shield Master Synergy. Oh, sorry, before I get into that, I still think Megatron is going to be a top pick, despite these nerfs. Just saying, based on his abilities alone. His kit has everything. He has stun, he has armor break, he has heal, he has power steal, he has an automatic power rate that goes up as time goes on. He has the 2 relics that either boost his damage or reduce the amount of damage that he takes. And he's got that relic of immortality. This guy is nuts, man. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say. These little nerfs are not going to do anything. This guy's still king. Shield Master Synergy. The power steal from well-timed blocks increased to 2 to, I guess, 8% based on tier. Updated to actually subtract power from opponent by equal amount. So this is actually a really nice change for Shield Master Synergy. 8% power removal. That's a pretty significant chunk. So imagine like every single time you parry or do a well-timed block, you're just taking away the power from the enemy. And of course, if you max out the block proficiency masteries, and you have this, coupled with the fact that Shieldmaster bots have gotten buffs on their block proficiency, I can start to see these guys being more viable in the in the top alliances for players that actually utilize them, who are actually really good with well-timed blocks. I know for a fact I suck at blocking, so it's definitely not going to be me. So I'm really happy with these changes. Aside from the ones for Grimlock and Grindor, those things are really weak, especially for Grindor. Dude, that special 3 buff is nothing. It's negligible. I really wish they did something more for him. Sideswipe is definitely going to be getting a nice... He's going to be a crit rate monster, I'm telling you. Yeah, that plus 10% base... plus 10% on base critical damage. If you coincide that with the buff he gets, the critical damage buff he gets from sidestepping an opponent's melee attack, those specials are going to hurt so much. Like, he combos it right after, does a special 2. The last hit up from that missile can do a substantial amount of damage. So, yeah, Sideswipe. I think Sideswipe. The only concern I have for him is that he doesn't really have much of a utility. He's a power rate monster whenever he dodges range shots, and he's a crit monster. So, yeah. Anyway, again, so far I'm really happy with the changes. Hound is getting the love that he deserves. When he was released, he was severely underpowered. With these changes, I think is going to be a top viable warrior bot. Same thing with Jetfire for techs. Right now, techs across the board are amazing. I would say even the same thing for scouts. Yeah, so I'm really excited for these changes. April 3rd, which is tomorrow, can't come soon enough. I'm really interested to see what the limited time boost and the relics are going to be, and what this new challenge is going to be. I'm going to try to post as many videos as I can, going through the doing playthroughs of the challenge, and trying out these bots with these buffs and nerfs and whatever. If you have any questions, if you have any requests, please, please, please make a comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it. Share this video, show this channel some love, and yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Cheers now. Bye.